Hello everybody, Maciej here and welcome to today's video in which we're going to be releasing our Minecraft plugin. So after watching this video, you will have a fully functional Minecraft plugin. And a couple of words about me. I am been in the game Minecraft since 2011 and I'm the founder and author of both Spigot course and Mine Academy training courses, which is the biggest educational portal currently available up to date. And I've also received over 500,000 in software downloads. I've managed over 30,000 unique servers, not servers, but players on different Minecraft servers together. And through Mine Academy and Spigot course, we now passed recently the 600 students mark. That is just awesome. So a couple of words about me here. You can see that I've been doing this for many years and I definitely know what I'm talking about. So if you want to make a custom Minecraft plugin or you just looking for the small code edit that you need for a different plugin that you already have, this video is for you. And here is what we are going to cover today. We're going to be talking about traditional and so-called next level developers. And then I'm going to show you how to become full circle, how everything we covered so far is interconnected. And then we're going to be speaking about Maven, what it is and why we use it, and most importantly, how it is used. And then finally, I'm going to explain the foundation library that we're going to use to build our first plugin together from scratch. So important here before we start, this video is a part of the Mine Academy training series on YouTube, right? And you should have taken your time to complete all of the previous videos in this series in full and in sequential order. Because if you have just skipped to watch this video or you just randomly found it without watching the two previous videos that we have now released, you're not going to understand it and you will get no results. And what I found from working with students is that coding can be overwhelming and slow if you try to skip ahead, if you try to rush things, but it can actually be very funny and very easy if you just follow the steps and do the work. So we are all here to win and not waste our time. So if you just come here randomly, then I highly recommend you stop watching this video, you go back into video number 1 in this series and you watch that one. And then you complete video number 2, and then this video is video number 3. So it is, you're not missing out a lot, but you should complete the 2 previous videos in full before continuing. All right, so let's get started and let's talk about traditional versus next level developers here. So remember the transformation that I talked about earlier, we're making in Mine Academy? Well, this is it, the Project Orion transformation, but this transformation will also happen on a smaller scale in this YouTube training. And by the way, Project Orion is our biggest training ever for Minecraft released since Spigot course last year. It has been completely redone and it's going to show you how to make your own plugins from scratch, right? It is like a 10 times bigger version of this YouTube training here. And then so the transformation here is, first you begin relying on other plugins, so most people start there, and then we do the work and the process together using the training here until you are fully self-sufficient and self-reliant and you're able to code your own plugins. But there is also another transformation ahead. So this is called the traditional versus next level developers transformation. Now, traditionally, if you ever happened to try coding Minecraft plugins, then you may feel like it's overwhelming and you may get blocked. And there are a couple of things that people were doing for many years, and these things just slow you down and just really make it a very hard and complicated task. So in Mine Academy, our mission is to make it easy and is to make it accessible for people. And instead of making it overwhelming and blocking, our goal is to make coding easy and exciting. And for example, if you ever happen to code plugins, you know that you must use so-called plugin.yml file. Now, what we do, we completely automate that file and we only write code once. And also, it's pretty hard to support reloading in our plugins if we don't use the foundation system that I'm going to show you later. However, if you follow this training, then your plugins will be able to be reloaded completely and correctly. And people also struggle with translating the files into different languages, because I assume that you don't have to be only English speaker, but you may be from Germany, from Slovakia like I am, or from different countries. So you may want to translate plugins easily, and this is also what we teach. And next up is settings can't update automatically. This is a big thing, a really big one, because if you have a big plugin and you want to update it, then oftentimes you find yourself that you have to completely make new settings from scratch and then reconfigure it. And so what we done here is the transformation that we will make your settings update completely automatically. So you're gonna save massive amounts of time. And also, traditional developers often lack ideas, and it's pretty hard to find what people want. And what we teach is how to do market research, how to generate ideas on demand, and how to understand players' psychology so that you know exactly what you should be doing for them. And then lastly, traditional developers often begin from scratch each time, while we're going to be using something called Foundation to kickstart our development that I'm going to show you quickly. So let's become full circle and let's begin this transformation. Remember this heartbeat, this cycle of the server that I'm talking about in the very first video? So basically it goes like this. The server is like a living organism. It has a heartbeat, and each beat takes 50 seconds. Together this forms the ticks, the TPS that should be on 20, because if it's on 20, then it's 20 by 50, that's 1000, and that takes exactly 1 second to perform all operations. And if you have a poor plugin that lags the server down, it's gonna take more than 50 seconds to perform a single tick, to perform all of these operations you see on the screen, and then the plugin will lag. So that's why we have a huge focus on coding standards, we have a huge focus on programming practices so that your plugins perform well and are very well optimized. And so, your plugins runs things here. It runs things when the server is checking for monsters, it is calculating AI, and so on and so forth. So, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this because I can go in great depth on how this ticking mechanism works, but here is just an illustration, and just know that your plugin is a simple part of it. So you only have 50 seconds to perform all operations, and not 50 seconds, because the server must perform them as well. So you are literally fighting for time, and that's why your plugin should be the most as optimized as possible. And so when the server loads, and here is how it all begins to work, so that you understand how your plugin will actually work. So when the server loads, the server mod, such as Spigot or Paper, goes into your plugins folder, and then it scans all of the jar files. And then the server mode opens each file. Here's actually server mod here, It opens each file and then looks for a special file named plugin.yml inside of that jar file. So for example, if I open chat control here, jar file, inside of this, you'll find a plugin.yml file, and it looks like that. And this is like an instruction for the server on how that plugin is made, on how the plugin should start, and what parts of the plugin, plugin should be loaded and when, right? Such as the main class here, when the plugin, where the plugin starts, the version of the plugin, the author, that is me, and then soft depend, all of the plugins that should be loaded before chat control, for example. So once again, to recap, when the server is loading plugins, it'll simply go to plugins folder, open up each jar file, and then look up this plugin.yml file to get instructions on how to load your plugin. And as I said, this file contains critical information about the plugin as it can load. And then when a plugin gets loaded, the server mod calls so-called onEnable method inside of your plugin. This is something that I'm going to show you later. And this is the number one method you can use to actually register your commands and do much more. It's basically like a starting point in your plugin. And this process may seem a bit complicated, so we'll make plugin making an easy and fun activity here in this training. Now, let's talk about Maven here. So what that is and why we're using it. Remember, when it comes to Java, as I explained in the last video, you write natural code, right? You write player.teleport to XYZ coordinates. And this is called natural Java code. This is understandable by us humans. And then what happens is that Java will compile it, will take that code, and will make it a bytecode. This is something that a machine can understand. You cannot understand it properly because it's like completely chaotic and disorganized, but it is better suited for the computer. And that bytecode is then, it can be downloaded. This bytecode is actually the jar file here. So, this will be the plugin that you're putting on your server. It is being a compiled version of the bytecode. And then the server can run on your Windows, on your MacBook, on your Linux installation. And all of these machines have Java installed that will transform the bytecode, and it's gonna run it, right? So first of all, it starts here with you write the code here, it gets transformed into bytecode, and then it gets interpreted and translated into zeros and ones into bits by different Javas installed on different machines. And so your IDE, either IntelliJ or Eclipse, has the ability to export bytecode program already. However, for Minecraft, this is not enough. So when you want to make a plugin, because a plugin, as I said, is indeed being already transformed into bytecode, then we need to use the IntelliJ exporting process. But this is not enough. So that's why we must use a better way of managing and publishing our code. And this is why I'm talking about Maven. So what is Maven? Maven is essentially a build tool. Now, what that means probably didn't tell you much. It simply helps you to convert your human readable code into bytecode, right? And we use Maven because it's, number one, it's very powerful, because this enables you to easily add any other library or connect to any other plugin inside of your plugin, right? And this is called a dependency, and I'm going to be talking about this later, not today, but later in this series. And it can even shade or put all classes from that library into your plugin automatically. This is something that we use when it comes to foundation library that I'm going to show you later, because your plugin will contain a copy of foundation library within it. And then number two, it is automated. So Maven can automatically download the latest versions of your dependencies and then run any tasks such as rename your packages, obfuscate your plugin, meaning it will make it hard for others to understand the code, what it does, and then much more. And then just like the server is scanning the jar files for the plugin.yml file, then Maven is looking for so-called pom.xml file inside of your source code folder. And this is the main file Maven creates in your plugin's code folder, containing all information it needs to put your plugin together. So, just remember this. For plugin, for Spigot or for Bucket, you need plugin.yml. And I'm going to show you how to make that file exactly in a minute. And for Maven, you need pom.xml file that will give instructions to Maven itself inside of your IntelliJ. And the best of all, we combine Maven with the following to completely transform the way people code plugins. And the following is the foundation library that I was mentioning throughout this video. So basically, here is why we made foundation. Because for the longest time, plugin making was hard, it required lots of time and was overwhelming for many. And developers were forced literally to start from zero each time they wanted to create plugins. And then many systems were lacking and had to be written 2 or even 3 times. And worse, plugins tend to always break on Minecraft updates. And I personally know people who told me that they get blocked and overwhelmed each time they look at their big empty screen and know they must start over again. So that's why we created the foundation. So foundation revolutionized the way people make Minecraft plugins. It is a very simple library that you connect to your plugin using Maven, and then you get access to it directly in your code, and you can simply use that library to jumpstart your development. And Foundation enables everyday people to code awesome plugins with as little experience as possible in the shortest amount of time possible, using the most advanced features possible, right? So it's a mission impossible, actually. And then it has been tested and it's proven. It's been used for 6 years in premium resources such as Chat Control Pro, and now it's available exclusively for Project Orion members, but we're also using this in this free training on YouTube. So now the only thing that's left is actually build your plugin here. So let's wrap it up. Starting today, we'll be combining everything you've learned together to create amazing Minecraft plugins and more. And I really assume you have set up or assembled the IntelliJ, your program for coding according to the previous video, right? It's your last chance now before it's too late. And then the goal for today is to create one command, 2 events, and lots of fun. So let's do it. So I'm just gonna quit this presentation here, and then you should see the links for resources. So go to resources, go to the description of this video if you're watching this on YouTube, and then you should see the Stellar zip file as well as a link to a building your plugin worksheet. So essentially, I can just go to that link first. And then this is the worksheet that we're going to be following. As you can see, it only contains 3 steps, so it's pretty simple. So number 1, what I've decided to do for this training is I'm gonna give you a very basic, bare bone, so-called skeleton version. Basically, it's an empty version of a fully functional plugin that you can use instead of doing everything from scratch. And to get this plugin, simply go to mineacademy.org/stellar. So let me go to that URL, and once you will get past this check, then it should start downloading itself automatically. There we go, it's now being downloaded, right? And if you open that file with whatever software for opening zip files you have on your PC, you can just click, for example, for WinRAR, you can just drag and drop it on your desktop, for example. And then I recommend you go to your user folder. For example, if you don't have this start menu because you have Windows 10, just go to recycle bin, and then this PC, and then your main drive, users, and then your username, and then you should have a workspace folder here. If you don't have it, it is a good idea to make a new folder. So right click, select new, and then folder, because in that folder, it's very good idea to store different plugins. For Eclipse, I have been using this system for Eclipse, and for IntelliJ, it's also very good idea to have all of your code somewhere organized here. So let me just type, I can just drag and drop this into this folder, and it's there. So that's step number 1. Now, step number 2 is you launch your IntelliJ, just like that. And then if you happen to have this welcome dialog here, then what you can do is you can simply drag the Stellar into that dialog, as you can see here. There we go, and it's now being opened. If you don't have that dialog, you simply go to File, you select Open, and then you navigate to the Workspace folder, so Kangaroo, and then Workspace, and then you select Stellar, and you hit OK. Alright, so it is now being loaded, it is now being downloaded. You should see a small message down here saying resolving dependencies, because it needs to download the Foundation library together with all of the dependencies there. So just wait for a couple of minutes till everything is set up, and once this message is gone, then you can continue this training. And then if you open Stellar, you can see the source code here and the PALM file, and I can actually show you everything that is here. So basically this bare bone plugin contains the PALM file, it contains the plugin file, it contains the main class of your plugin, and also very simple example command and very simple example listener class. I'm gonna explain what these 3 do in a second. So let me open up the PALM file here, and I'm not gonna be reading all of these comments, you can read them yourself, but I'm just gonna explain a little bit of how this file works. So the first thing you'll notice is the group file here. And this is essentially the main, the identification of the group for this plugin. So together we're grouping all of the plugins that I make under org.mineacademy. That is the reversed domain name, because my website is mineacademy.org. So there is a convention that says that you should reverse that name to put org.mineacademy instead. Now, if you don't have any website, you can just type me and then .kangaroo, and that works just fine. Obviously, please replace this nickname with whatever nickname you have. And the nickname should not contain any weird characters, should literally be just English letters. And then the artifact ID is the name of the project here. It should be with small letters, and it is Stellar. And then the name is actually the same name as your plugin has, so this can be now with capital letters. And then the version of the plugin is simply 1.0.0. So the main version here, the generation, and then the big updates that you're gonna push, and then the small updates, you can increase the number here. And then the properties here, so the main class is something that the bucket will find in the plugin file to load your plugin. So if I go to plugin, no, I'm actually not gonna go to plugin YML just yet. Let me explain what this is. So bucket will load the plugin YML file, and it's gonna ask your plugin for the main class, and this should be the fully qualified name to the main plugin class. So this is org.mineacademy.stellar. This is the package name here, as you can see. This has been created. If you need to create more, you can just right-click Java, select New, and then Package, and then just type whatever you want, just like that. And then if you want to delete it, just select Delete, and then delete it. And then inside of that class, I right-clicked and I selected New Java class, and then simply Stellar plugin, for example, to give it a very fancy name, right? Do not name your classes main, because this is very confusing. I typically advise people to name them the name of the plugin plus the plugin name itself. So Stellar plugin. So this is the fully qualified name where the plugin is being loaded. And then the foundation version, so the library we're using is constantly being updated. So probably this number has been changed since you're watching this video. So no worries, just click that link here, and then you'll see the latest version of the library, 5.1.4, and you put that here. And then the Spigot version is 1.14.4, and then the R0.1 snapshot, you can just leave this as it is. They have stopped doing any changes in this version number since 2014. I believe there has not been a single instance where they changed this, so no worries about it. But you can change this to for example, 1.15 once it is being released, right? And so on and so forth, for example. And then the Java version, I explained why we use Java 1.8 in the last video. And then the encoding, so basically just leave this as it is, because this will make the files safe in the Unicode encoding, which will support special letters such as different letters. This is for the Norwegian alphabet, this is for the Slovakian alphabet, right? So basically, if you happen to use these characters, you should not have any problems in saving your files, because this is being supported using the UTF-8, which stands for Unicode encoding. So, no worries, just don't change anything and your plugin will work flawlessly. And then down below, I'm going to skip this part, and then dependencies. So basically, these are the libraries that we're using to make our plugin have access to different methods. So the first one is the Spigot API, so that you have access to the Spigot Minecraft server and to all of the methods inside of the plugin, such as getting the player, getting zombies, and stuff like that. And then the second dependency is the foundation library, so that you have access to that as well. Very simple. I'm not going to spend too much time on how to make custom dependencies. I'm going to create a separate video on this just as well. And then down is the building process. This may seem a bit complicated. You can see plugins here. This has nothing to do with Minecraft plugins. This has to do with Maven plugins, actually. and you don't have to understand this because everything has been tested, everything has been configured to work properly. So, when I'm gonna make a video for dependencies, I can return and explain a bit more for plugins, but I just don't want to make this video 2-hour long here. And then resources filtering, something that will make Maven, when it is compiling your plugin into bytecode, it will go to your plugin YML. Let me actually open this now. And you can see, as I promised, we made this file being automated so that you don't have to edit anything in here. You can just literally rewrite your name. You can put your name here. Do not use my nickname, please. And you can think about if you want to change the API version when Minecraft 1.15 is released, for example, and your plugin starts breaking, then you can obviously upgrade it to 1.14, but I recommend you stick with 1.13 despite that 1.14 is already available at the time of making this video. And then, let me go back to these weird names here. So basically what this filtering will do, this will make Maven go to the plugin file, and it's going to replace the project name, version, and main class. It's going to replace it with the project name here, the version here, and the main class here, so that you only have to specify it in the pom.xml file, and you don't have to go to you do not have to go to plugin file twice. So that is very cool. All right, so that's it. Now let me go to the main class and let me explain what this does. So basically I have spent some time, I have put very nice comments in here. This is the main class in Java. As I explained in the last video, plugins are made in Java, so you should be learning Java on side of making Minecraft plugins, because if you just happen to watch this video and you have no idea what is public final class, then it's gonna be very hard for you to follow. So I recommend you take some training. For example, if you go to Mine Academy for Java and you sign up for Project Orion, right? So this is the training we have for Minecraft plugins. You sign up for that, then you're gonna get access to Java Masterclass completely for free. And this is just for Java. This will explain everything. What is import, what is package, what is public final class, what is extends, right? What are these weird brackets here? What is override? This will make everything easy. And this is just 4 weeks long, and the fifth week is just bonus. You do not need that. So in just 4 weeks, you'll understand how everything is interconnected. And the videos here are much longer. You can see 41 minutes on just dealing with IntelliJ to make it very, very detailed and to give you everything you need to leave no stones untouched. So once again, if you want that training, sign up for Orion, just purchase Orion and you'll get access to Java Masterclass completely for free as a bonus to Project Orion. I can actually open this up and show you we have over 8 weeks of training here just for Minecraft plugins. So it's pretty big here, right? All right, let me go back into the plugin. So the first thing I want to explain is the extends simple plugin. So basically a plugin needs to extend something that will give you some sort of a starting point from which you can then reload it and load different things. And what we took is, if I open the simple plugin here, we extend the Java plugin. So basically most tutorials will just teach you to extend Java plugin. However, this is not enough, because then you're going to lose access to a lot of these methods that we have in Foundation prepared for you, and it's gonna be a little bit harder to start. So instead of doing that, just type simple plugin here and then import it from the org.mineacademy.fo plugin package. And then you'll get access to a lot of more stuff here. And the first difference from most tutorials is that when your plugin will start, I do not type on enable, but I actually type on plugin start. And as well as here, I do not type on disable, but I type on plugin stop, right? So instead of doing that, the reason why we do not allow you to type on disable and on enable is that Foundation actually does some stuff inside of there. So that's why we had to create a separate method. So these two methods control what happens when the plugin is starting, when the server is starting, and when the plugin is stopping. I do not have anything in here. And then the first line of code will register a very simple command. It's called the stellar command. I can actually go here, I can open this up, and this command does absolutely nothing, right? It is a very simple command. If you want to make commands, just make them extend simple command, and then make sure that the constructor is public. So make a new constructor, and then just give it a very nice name, such as the stellar or st, that is the label. I'll explain a little bit more information here. And then the method that you should pay attention to is the onCommand method that is being called automatically when someone does /stellar or /st in the game. Alright, so that is for the command that we create. And now it's time to create and listen to an event. So you can just use the register events method to register events inside of whatever class you create. And what are events? Basically, event is something that is happening, such as when the player joins, when the player quits. There are two events that are fired inside of your plugin, and then you can modify what happens when a player joins, when a player clicks a cow, for example, when a player dies, and a lot more than that. So basically, what I'm doing here is I made a very simple class, player listener. It's literally an empty class. And then I made it implements listener. This is what I explained here. And inside of that class, you can then write your own events here. And I need to register that class for the plugin to know where to look for events. And good news is that you don't have to do this if you just put your events inside of the simple plugin class, because this class already has the implements listener inside of it. So you don't have to do that, and you can simply type out your event this way. And the way you do it, you put add and then event handler. This is called annotation on top of a method. This is called the method. So you type event handler and then public void and then the name of the event. It doesn't really matter. You can literally type whatever you want here, and then you type player join event. This is important here. This will make the method run the code when a player is joining into the game. And then the name, the variable name, this also doesn't matter. Some people type only E to make it short, but I recommend you stick with the fully qualified names just to keep the confusion out of it, right? And then I got player variable from the event. So event.getPlayer will get the variable player from it. And now you can, for example, let me show you what you can do. You can send him a message. So send a message, welcome to the server, and then the player get name, and then I connect this variable call with a string with a message. So it's gonna tell me welcome to the server, Kangaroo, and then exclamation mark. And then I can also give myself, let me just illustrate, I can give myself XP levels, but I want to get my inventory and then add an item. And I can give myself some very fancy item. And actually what we do in Foundation, we make it very easy to give very custom items. So if you want to give yourself some cool item, such as diamond having a special name, you can simply call item creator and then off, and then call the second method here. So comp material, and then the material of the item will be diamond. And then let's say, let me just put a name on it. For example, this can be red diamond. And this here is a special color code that I completely forgot to explain what that is. This will basically make the red diamond name red. And if you want to know what these are, you can simply type Minecraft formatting codes into Google, and you can go to the first link here, and then you're gonna get an overview of all the color codes you can use. Just know that do not use this letter here. Instead of using this letter, use this and letter. Otherwise, it will not work. So just use that one. And then for the description of that item, I can make it the first line empty, and then the second line will be this is a special diamond. And then we need to make a special item that you can put inside of the item, inside of the player's inventory from the item creator, because the item creator will make a different class that is not compatible and you cannot place it. You can see this is all in red. So to transform it, simply type build and then make survival to make very nice survival item, right? And I can hit save. I can also split this so it is on multiple lines, and then don't forget to put the semicolon here and actually nothing at the end. And that's how you make that's how you give yourself a special version of a diamond, I guess, and then that's how you send a message to a player. And then, you know, that's basically it for events. And when it comes to command, I decided not to talk about them a lot because this will take another 1 hour. So I'm gonna make a separate video on how to make commands. Just know that you have this command class pre-created for you, right? So it's very easy, and that's why we provide the 3 example classes so that you don't have to start from scratch each time. And then if I go back here, now what we need to do, we need to export that code to make it a plugin and to put it on the server and to actually load it as a plugin. So the way we do it is you go to here and you click add configuration, and then you select plus maven, and into the command line you type clean space install and you click enter. And then it should make a very nice arrow here. So you go and you click that arrow and it's going to tell you a bunch of errors that it's complaining about some dependencies here. Don't worry about it. Just click the first link here, stellar, and it should say build success. If you completed all of the steps correctly, it should say build success. So once it says that, you can minimize it and then open the stellar folder, and you're gonna see a new target folder. So open that, and then you're gonna see the stellar 1.0.0 file here. This is the big file that is being compiled from Maven, and this is the fully functional plugin file. So right click this, we can actually open this with WinRAR if you have that installed, and I'm gonna show you what it contains. So it contains the plugin file, except that now it contains the translated messages from the PALM file that have been put inside of that file automatically for you. And if I open up the org mine academy stellar package, it contains the main class, it contains the listener class, it contains the command class. I can actually extract this, and if I want to open this, for example with Notepad, I can see a bunch of nonsense because this is not human code, this is the bytecode that I was talking about in the beginning of this video. And then it also contains the lib here. If I open this up, it contains a lot of things. That's why the file has 760 kilobytes, because this is the foundation library that you're gonna carry in each of your files. All right, and now the only thing that's left is to simply go to the plugins folder and then drag and drop this into the plugins here, and then start the server normally. And then I'm gonna start my Minecraft client to show you what it will do in the game. All right, once the server has loaded, simply go to multiplayer. You can connect to your server as I explained in the last video. So join it. And now it's gonna tell me, welcome to the server, Kangaroo. And then I can see I have a new diamond in my inventory, and it says red diamond. This is a special diamond. And this is a fully functional diamond you can use for crafting, for making things, right? But it has a custom name on it, and it has a custom lore on it. So that's how you can create your custom items. Obviously, you can make a boss spawner, for example, as I have here from another plugin of mine that is called Boss. And in Boss, we actually use the very same system to create custom items like that. And this will work for pretty much anything you see in these inventories here. So thanks so much for watching this video. I know I rushed a little bit about some things here, and I could go into a little bit more details in how these parts work together, but the reason I didn't is that we only have so much time for this training here, and I cannot make these videos 3 hours long. and I promised you to make your own plugin at the end of the video. So, I cannot just create a video on how to make commands first and how to make listeners, and then, how to write this. And then video number 75 will be how to actually make it that the plugin will load and will do some stuff. No, I wanted to show you how to do this as quickly as possible. And now it's actually time to step back, take a little bit of time and explain all of the things that we have done. So thanks so much for watching. If you're interested in learning more, in going into the great depth of each of the parts that we made, then go to Mine Academy. You can sign up for our course, or I'll see you in the next video very soon.